Can you imagine? 4 weeks ago, there was a flagship store opened in Milan, Italy. And early in the morning, thousands of people were waiting in line. Actually, they were not waiting in line because we're talking Italy. It was a big crowd. The store is owned by Chiara Ferrani. She is a fashion blogger. She's 25 years old, and she opened up her personal flagship store, branding products with her personal brand. Can you imagine? I'm still getting goosebumps if I think about this story. This is her logo. So any product in this store is branded with her logo. For me, this is a super example for a digital brand built in the digital world, only, purely. The business communication is changing totally while digital comes into the game. Teenagers become micro celebrities. They have hundreds of thousands of followers while sharing private pictures from their private life with their friends, eating, drinking, doing whatever. This is massive changing communication. And with the blogging, the business blogging, it does influence the business communication. How about you? If you would think about yourself, if you would have had a fantastic, brilliant, unique idea which would change the world 10 years ago, how would you made it popular? How would you have it published? So not just your network, your community knows about it. Anyone out there, thousands, millions. Me, myself and I wrote letters. I'm a bit older, you know, so I wrote letters. I established my network. Everyone who is doing that in the real world knows it's really time-consuming and it's an investment. I wrote a book. This is why I'm also on stage. Before I never went on stage because I said I'd never do that, ever. So I did a lot in the analog world to become a brand more and more, a personal brand. What's happening today is influencing and impacting on a content base massively. So there's a study, it's not supposed to be read, so don't even try. There's a study from Wall Street Journal together with Facebook they have done about 2 years ago. And they put content online. Part of the content was on the liberal side, so they tested some political opinion buildings. And part of the content was on the conservative side. And guess what happened? As more content you got from the blue or from the red, as more influenced you got about the same. Which is really, really carefully to be watched. There are people out there saying this is why Trump won and became a president. Because if you get more, I call it a silo information, if you get more and more of the same information, and it's not just politics. I'm listening a lot to music and I have a certain style, but sometimes I like to get new ideas in and out all the time. And also hearing something I would never normally hear. But with all these music channels we have out there, you get something more what you have heard yesterday, but similar. And after a while, I realized, wow, this is pretty boring. I want to have, you know, something disturbing, something totally new. And I think for me, this is really a big fear I have myself, that we are not being colorful anymore, that we get in the red and the green or in the blue and getting more of the same. And this is my negative takeaway from the tribe development. You really have to be awake and always watching which sort of content are you consuming. A couple of weeks ago, I went to a conference in Amsterdam, and I'm sure you all had similar experiences. And I was meeting friends, and I was the one because I was a bit aware about the area in Amsterdam, and I was the one telling people where to meet, you know, where could you go shopping, which hotel are you using? And I went online. And there are all these services out there which are super helpful, and I never ever want to miss it again. But you know what happened? After I went on, so after Amsterdam I went to Munich. I was 2-3 days later in Munich and still got information about Amsterdam. There's a new restaurant opening up. So again, it's not a tribe in the classical way, but still you're consuming more of the same. And I think we have to watch that and really take that in mind. So what does that mean for you building up a personal brand? And this is, by the way, much bigger than the tribe communication part, but still it's the basis. So if you really want to become a personal brand because you have an idea, a message where you think the world should know about it, you want to impact the world's development, to make the world a bit better, how would you do that? How would you start doing that? First of all, I would totally advise you think about your USP. And this is not the easiest. Think about your USP. What is your unique selling point? What makes you different to your colleague, to your friend? And most of the time, it's not probably just your business experience. It's your personal development with your personal experiences, with your customers, with your colleagues. Secondly, think about your values. What are you standing for? What are really the values which drive you since you're born, since you're educated? Do they change? Sometimes they change a bit. And then about your competences. What are your competences? So on the end of the day, you should bring together, it's like a filter, you put everything in there, bring together like this one positioning. Who am I? I don't know who of you heard about an elevator pitch. It's a similar methodology. So in a sentence, who are you? And the big question you can take away for tonight and think about tomorrow, as whom you would like to be recognized in a year from now. If you have that answer, your personal brand positioning is almost there. And then you go on and think about, okay, which channels do I use? It could be tribes, of course, digital. Depending on the subject, I think there is no way out. You have to use that, and it's good because, as we learned before, the multiplicators are big. It's much faster. You know, in my old analog world, it took me probably about 15 years to build up my brand. Today, it's months, sometimes weeks. So it's speeding up dramatically. So think about how you want to build up your personal brand and think about the channels you use. Think about your network/communities. Who could be a great multiplicator for your message, for your idea? And if you bring that all together, I promise, just do not forget about passion. Because, you know, I'm doing a lot of practicing on stage, and I never ever had a speaker on stage being passionate and not a good speaker. Because if you're passionate, if you burn about an idea, and you really want to tell and share with the world your idea, there is no way that you're stoppable here. And this is my wish to you. I want you to be unstoppable. If you really want to go for it, if you really build up your personal brand, think about the channels, the digital channels you're going to use for, and then you're unstoppable. And this is what's my wish to you. You're going to be unstoppable, change the world, make it a bit better with your personal, individual idea, and rock the world or dance the world. Thank you so much.